Lamin Mane with us this morning on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. You mentioned the ADB and the time you spent there. Let's talk about money now, because the Gambia has reached an agreement with Afrexim. And we're going to get $75 million from them. That's a lot of Dalasis.
A lot of Dalasis.
You have a problem with it, with that agreement?
We have a big problem with that, $75 million, because
you don't want the country to access funding?
We want it to access funding, but the right way and do the right things with it.
Okay, so what's wrong with
Peter,
this?
This $75 million currency swap, they did that just to be able to circumvent worsening our debt overhang. So what do? They go to the capital markets to do this, borrow that money, which we'll have to pay back, but in a different way. That money is going to be paid by you and me and every Gambian here, because it's going to be paid from the road tax.
Oh.
And with the Dalasis depreciating considerably against every major foreign currency, that road tax contribution from fuel is going to go up to be able to meet the payments. You remember the first time I came here, I said that when they take this loan for the currency swap, it's going to be in the region of 15 to 17% interest on it. And everybody say, how does he know? They complain. We know how these things work. And today they told us they signed for 15%.
Okay.
15% interest.
So that's within your
prediction. When that money comes in, the Afrexim Bank $75 million is going to be used to buy Dalasis. And Afrexim Bank is going to use those Dalasis to buy bonds which are going to go to the NRA.
National Roads Authority.
Right? And the $75 million that we're going to receive from Afrexim Bank, they're going to reinvest it in Afrexim Bank. And Afrexim Bank is going to remunerate us at a much, much lower rate. If we get a third of what the percentage we're paying here, we're lucky. If you get 5% remuneration on the $75,000, $75 million, we're lucky.
Yeah, but every $5, total value will be more than the 15 that we are paying for every dollar.
No, because we're paying the value of those $75 million in Dalasis, and we're paying 15%. So their loan gets remunerated at 15%.
Yeah, that's 15.
But our investment with them gets remunerated at 5% maximum. Maybe in the 4 or 5% region. That's what we're going to get from that loan. So they will be getting at least 3 times in interest what we'll be getting.
I thought it was going to be the other way around.
No, that's the point. So we're going to be remunerating them 15%, and we will be lucky if they remunerate us 5%. Okay, so that's a huge loss for us, 1. 2, we will be paying bonds also on that loan as we move along, which will increase the amount of money we'll be paying. And at the end of the period, the $25 million will go back to Afrexim Bank, etc. So the currency swap, nobody has done it yet here. And they will tell us we're innovating. No, we're not innovating. We're sinking the country further, because the loan distress is such that they cannot afford to carry that kind of loan anymore.
So what should they have done? Afrexim Bank has $75 million for the Gambia. What should
if you want to take $75 million from Afrexim Bank, you plow it into the private sector and into enterprises that are going to generate high levels of revenue, etc., because you can pay it back, at a over a reasonable time and without much of a hardship for the country. If you want to do infrastructure projects which do not yield any dividends immediately or directly, you go for concessional loans, which will cost you about 2-3%. And you can build your infrastructure, and you pay them over a period of 20 to 40 years with 5-year grace period. That's what you need, because the roads do not generate revenue directly unless they are toll roads. And we don't have toll roads here. Yeah. So you do them in with a loan that is very soft, so that you can pay it off over a long period of time without so much hardship. When you take this sort of loans, like even the money they're borrowing on the markets here, in the secondary banks, to finance infrastructure development, particularly road construction, is a folly. We're taking loans from the commercial banks at 15, 17, 20% to finance road infrastructure. It doesn't make any sense. And we pay this over a very short period of time, about 5 years. And we take all sorts of loans which are totally horrible for the Gambian population, and it's terrible for the Gambian Dalasis, especially when we do not export anything. We have nothing in the real economy that can sustain the Dalasis. And then you add a huge debt stock onto that. Of course, the Dalasis just falls through the floor. And the more the Dalasis falls, the more expensive, by mechanical effect, the more expensive is the financing of those loans. So the $75 million dollars we've taken, with the Dalasis falling, we will be paying even more in terms of Dalasis, even though the real value in terms of dollars is the same. But we'll be paying much more because the dollar is going to stay more or less stable, and the Dalasis is going to continue its depreciation. So today, the loan stock we have, even if you do not borrow any more, every year is going to be more expensive. And it's going to be bigger just because the Dalasis is depreciating.
Well, okay, it may be depreciating, but, the argument is currencies right across Africa are depreciating, and Gambia is privileged to have the most stable currency.
No. The CD has just appreciated very significantly.
Well, they just had elections, not so long ago.
Not so long, but because they have brought in very strong policies as well. Okay, if Senegal had not been in the CFA, their currency would have been appreciating a lot today, because they are doing all the right things in Senegal. But they are in the CFA, so they are constrained by the arrangements of the CFA. Otherwise, their currency would have been appreciating. The Gambian Dalasis was stable because we had, in spite of everything, we had a very stable macroeconomic policy. We had all the fundamentals right. We had a reasonable and manageable debt stock. But today, all of that is thrown out of the window. So our Dalasis is depreciated, and we were exporting, even though it was raw materials, unprocessed, groundnuts, cotton, lint, and sesame at the time, and a few other things. We're exporting. Today, we don't export anything. So we don't bring in any foreign currency. And even the tourism sector, which was a supplementary source of income, is dying. So what do we do?
Just before I, move on to talk on NAWEC, the president, is it last week, inaugurated, the Sanyang deep seaport project.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a serious project. It's a good project for the country,
Seriously?
Isn't it?
No.
Why?
Peter, these are the people who are giving out that seaport, after the Banjul seaport, at an 80-20% distribution.
That is correct, but that is why those same people are being forced to begin, investing in the Sanyang deep seaport. And the president has made that point very clear.
And all that they tell you,
he will ensure that monthly he will go there and see the works for himself, just to ensure that there is progress.
We will see. We will see. But even beyond that, they brag about the fact that Al-Bayrak is going to invest $450 million in the project, and that is the biggest single investment in the country.
Isn't it?
It probably is.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not.
Explain yourself.
NAWEC.
Yeah.
NAWEC received over $447 million in 8 years.
Yeah, but this is
That's virtually
single investment. I mean, you're talking about cumulative. All right?
Cumulative, but the impact is the same, because it's the same debt stock that's going to be raised, and NAWEC could have made a big difference if they had done that, because we don't have that share formula. It would have been entirely Gambian, and we could have made money from that investment. With $447 million, we could have generated at least 420 to 430 megawatts. We need no more than 150 megawatts in this country. We could have sold 250 megawatts minimum outside the country and make money to refund those loans. But instead, we've lost all that money and we have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, let's go back to
now,
Al-Bayrak.
to the Al-Bayrak thing.
Yes.
If you tell me that the Gambia government cannot raise $450 million to build a port for itself, then it's an indictment. After the downfall,
exit, yes,
we got pledges for $1.7 billion to come into this country.
1.4 billion euro.
Euros, 1.45 billion euros.
Euros, yes.
Which is $1.7 billion at the time. If that had materialized, Part of that could have been used to build that port. And what do they tell you? Oh, no, today, the paradigm has shifted. Everybody's moving to the private sector, blah, blah, blah. It's because we have incompetent people placed at the heads of these institutions, and they run them into the ground, and then you use that as an excuse to say they're not performing, let's outsource them. We do not need to go that way. We have the possibility of developing our port if we want to put our money there and do it the right way and have Gambians run it and run it properly. Alberak took over Banjul port. They did not bring in any new equipment or anything. And within a month, they were making profits when the port was losing a lot of money. Why? Just because they brought in rational management systems and they brought in discipline and integrity in the management of the whole thing. Why couldn't we have done it? We have people in the Gambia who are capable of doing that.
So at least something positive finally to be said about the Albayrak arrangement?
No.
But that has to be positive.
Peter, when we own our port...
We were losing money through this port, and now we are making money.
They are making money. When we own our port, we built it out of nowhere, and we are being given 20% of the proceeds from a better management.
Before now, we were putting money into the board. Nothing
because of poor management. That's what I'm saying. You run it into the ground so you can justify outsourcing it or selling it off or concessioning it, whatever you call it. We could have made so much money out of this, and we are making money out of this. Peter, when Captain Salah and the rest were running this port, he was making a lot of money. And he was developing local talent to do these things. He was training people to become ship captains in this country. 3 of my classmates in lower 6 were recruited by him. Gumbo Ture, Seni Jadama, and I can't remember the third one. He recruited them from lower 6 to go train them as captains. They were building it. He bought an ocean-going vessel for this country. Ghana had the Black Sea Line, and they were doing well. Why can't we have something sub-regional, ECOWAS thing? We are over 400 million people in ECOWAS.
Okay. I should say, though, that, much as government is hailing the change at the Banjul port, the dock workers are complaining seriously.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been asking me to come on the program incessantly, and I'm simply saying, well, get your, act together, because I would rather the head of the dock workers union or whatever speaks to me rather than, people at the bottom, because you wouldn't know, what is, truthful about what they're saying. But, I mean, we are getting pictures, we are getting complaints, and government should really look into this. These are Gambians.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't matter how much money is being invested into the country. The government is there, all right, to look after the interest of Gambians first and foremost.
Exactly.
And if workers in excess of 50 are complaining, I think there's a genuine reason. Ibrahim Asila, you are listening. Os Jobate, you are listening. There's a genuine reason to look into the dock workers' complaints and address them once and for all.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for them to sit there, they hear people come on the program, complain, and they start saying, well, everybody's against them.
Yeah, and they give excuses for that.
Right.
Peter, when I heard them on this show, both of them say, no, we have a very good program, all the workers are going to be maintained, etc. It's not true. That never happens
anywhere. We're getting
anywhere.
a lot of complaints from the dock workers, and we are saying, we are giving, the authorities an opportunity. Sort them out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we'll start bringing them down. And these people, once they are angry, they will say things.
Yeah.
And the public out there, will believe, most of the things that are said.
And there's no point burying our heads in the sand. You have to look at the problems and solve them.
Yeah.
That is the problem we have. That is why we're having all these issues. That's why the port was going so badly. It was doing so badly, rather.
Yeah.
Because the people who were doing the work were not given the remuneration they deserved.
Yeah.
The people who were sitting at the top were getting all the perks, and the money was disappearing, and all of the things were going wrong. Look at the problems and solve them.
Absolutely.
We saw social security go down the drain. Mohamed Manjang was brought in, and he turned it around. We have people like that in the Gambia.
You mentioned NAWEC. I'll give you 2 minutes to talk about you want to talk about the power situation.
Yeah.
As if you have an explanation as to why we are having all this,
Peter, the explanation is very simple. The money that's coming into NAWEC has to be invested in generation capacity. We cannot continue like this forever. 60 years after independence, we're still struggling to get power to the Gambia. the power needs of the Gambia is far less than the power needs of Dakar alone. They have done it so easily. I mean, they are building more power stations, solar most of the time. And we can do this. Why can't we just get the act together? Why can't we just... Every day now, people lose power from about 9 in the morning until 5, 6 in the evening.
Well, luckily, I'm not in that part of the country that is experiencing that. I mean, that's not my experience where I live or even here at the radio station.
We're having that. Go to my area by now.
I know they have issues at Latiria.
You have the generators running all over the place.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
So we cannot continue like this. We have to overhaul that system and get the right people to do the right thing and invest properly in power generation and transmission.